What's going on, y'all? My name is Christopher Life Willars, and this is the Stay Free Show. And I'm happy because why? Well, one, I'm here, and society said I shouldn't be. And much like me, the same could be said about my guest today, Sean Barksdale. I'm proud to have this platform, not because I get to be a voice for others, but also because I get to bring other voices up here. It's so important to know that just because you were incarcerated does not mean that you can't make impact. It's important to know that just because your story started one place, that it can most definitely, end in a totally different place, man, for the better. So I get to highlight different people every single week, every single Saturday, 7:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. If you are indeed one of these individuals that's coming home from incarceration, you have a powerful, impactful story. If you're doing good works out there, I would love to be able to, just highlight what you do, man. Today's guest, though, you see him up on the screen, is Mr. Sean Barksdale. I had the privilege and honor to meet him at the Virginia Justice Conference in person after hearing his name several times in the advocacy circle, what I call the freedom fighters, man. And essentially, man, Sean, I'm going to read his bio because it's really powerful and it'll give you a glimpse into the conversation we're getting ready to get into tonight. Sean was born in wedlock to Darlene Cardin and Calvin Barksdale. Sean was born April 19th, 1976, and was caught in a vicious cycle when his father was incarcerated while he was only 4 years old. Although Sean had gained a foundation of respect and a hard work ethic from his grandparents and great grandparents, the absence of his father led him down a dark path, ultimately to him being incarcerated himself at the age of 24. While confined, Sean began to educate himself, gaining his GED, college courses, and a host of trades. His heart gravitated towards graphics communications, learning everything he could about the printing industry. At the same time, he was becoming a parent at visiting room tables and through phone conversations, which I'm glad to be able to get into part of that conversation today, too. Today, Sean has been free for over 5 years and fathered two additional children. He owns and operates his own printing company, Press for Time Tees LLC, while still on a journey to find out what a real man is. He poses the question, what is your 10 minutes of truth? He's got a powerful platform himself, but today he's on mine, and I'm bringing him up now, man. Sean, how you
What's
doing,
up,
brother?
brother? How you, man?
Man, I'm doing good, man. It's glad to have you on the platform. Glad to be here,
Sure,
man.
for sure. Thank you for having us.
If I butchered any part of the bio, I apologize, but we really wanted to take the time to read that. Let our
Right,
audience know who we're speaking to today.
for sure.
Um, I had the privilege and honor of meeting you, like I mentioned, man. But can you introduce in your own words, outside of the bio, who you are, a little bit about yourself as well, man, today?
Thank you, like for real. So, uh, much like you said, I grew up in rural Virginia, small rural town. Headed down that path, of course, and landed in prison. Man, they gave me 75 years, Chris, and I had 16. Active. I had to pull, which I ended up doing. Almost 15 of that. Here in Virginia, man, and I really had that darkness that we have, man, going in and just being ignorant of the situation, ignorant of the law, of course, man. But once I lined my head and my mind back up right, and I had a foundation to come back to, because like you said, I had my great grandparents and my grandparents that had taught me a lot. So I had a foundation to come back to, started to educate myself, man. I fell in love with printing, Chris. I mean, I fell in love with it. I printed for every justice reform group in Virginia and abroad. I printed for NASA. I printed for NASCAR. I printed for the Floyd Mayweather fight back when he fought Paul. And the motto is we don't make T-shirts, we make memories, man. So that did a lot for us. And then of course we started 10 Minutes of Truth podcast in the media side during COVID because I wanted to give a voice to our family members and our loved ones, because people hear our story, but they don't know what your mom go through, your aunts and your cousins and your kids go through. So we started that, but it metastasized into something different, man. We've had, lawyers and judges and senators and everybody dealing with justice reform. and social justice issues at that. And what 10 Minutes of Truth became is a hub for resources. So a lot of the community come to our platform for resources. We just kept adding value in the space. And I started working part-time for Virginia Tech for the COP, which is the Collaborative Opioid Prevention Education Initiative. So I go back into the prison systems and in the community, and I teach adverse childhood experiences, man. So that's a little bit about us.
No, thank you, man. And here we talked about the successes in the latter half of you introducing yourself, but in
Yeah.
case anybody missed it on the first hand, you got sentenced to 75 years.
Yeah. Yep.
So we definitely gonna talk about the successes today because I need people to know that they can succeed after such a daunting situation like that. But I want to ask you first, because I'm a big mental health guy, right?
Yeah.
What was the impact mentally when being sentenced to 75 years? Because I need people to understand what you might have had to fight through in order to get to this conversation today.
When the judge, which happens to a lot of, he started ringing off so much time that I didn't know how much time I had gotten, right? Because my case was, which a lot of times, like I had an armed robbery case. So
Yeah.
at my before my pre-sentence, the prosecutor told the judge, he said, listen, this is 2 robberies, Your Honor, and 2 gun charges, because this were both of the owners that was robbed. They both owned the establishment. So the judge said, okay, a pre-sentence report, we're gonna have 2 pre-sentence reports. We're gonna have one for 1 robbery and one for 2 robberies. So I didn't know what I might get. And of course, my lawyer lost. I had everybody in the courtroom. I had my grandparents, mother, cousins, everybody, man. When he started saying 25 years for this robbery, 25 years for that robbery, I'm like, okay, that's 50 years. Okay, 10 years for the gun charge, this suspended. I'm like, I had to sit down. Like I literally was crying. Like people will talk that tough guy talk. And I was crying. I'm hearing my grandmother, my mother crying in the background, man. So it's not what you see on and hearing them rap videos, man, at all.
Yeah. It's funny. I had a conversation with a young man, and a real serious conversation, because he's on the verge, he's on that cliff, of being caught up in that wave of like 18 to 22-year-olds that go away for a long time, because he's not just playing around, like he's real serious with it. And I tell him, I say, man, you really don't know until you're facing a life sentence.
Yep.
There's a percentage of people like you facing life. You don't know that feeling. You don't know that feeling. But if you do, and you would shift probably your mindset relatively quickly. And
Yep.
I'm thinking about what you're saying, man. People don't
Yeah.
know, when I was in that courtroom and I got my sentence, I couldn't count up the numbers. All I heard was that white noise.
That's it. That's it. You
Did it translate?
real quick to what you said. My co-defendant, I had a co-defendant. They threatened my co-defendant with life because they didn't know who I was. I wasn't even, once I understood that what happened with me, I wasn't even mad at him that he gave me up, because they threatened him with life, and they could have gave him life. I wasn't even mad at him, bro. I wasn't.
That's real though. Oh, that's real, because a lot of people will hear that and be like, man, dude gave him up and he ain't mad. How can you move? But yo, my
Right.
cousin gave me up. I'm not mad.
Right.
One,
Right.
the reason I'm not mad is because we were all younger.
Yep.
And they were throwing big numbers out there. Hey, listen, man. And I got some big numbers thrown at me. I didn't give anybody up and I got hit in the crossfire. But everybody can't stand up to that. And that's
Correct.
maturity, Sean. Real
Correct.
talk, man.
Correct.
Real talk.
Correct.
What was the mental like moving? Because you get your time, you're still in a jail. What was your mindset like going into prison? Were you already like, I'm focused on my freedom, I'm gonna get home somehow, 75 years or not? Or were you coming in angry like I was? Like how were you at that time?
That's a great question. I was in between. Because I told my youngest at my group home the other day that just because the judge slaps the gavel and says, hey, you had this much time, your trauma doesn't go away, the mental health doesn't go away, the substance abuse doesn't go away. The baggage just follows you into prison. So I knew I needed to do something different, but I still got all this trauma following me. So I was on the fence. I was trying to figure out, you know what I'm saying, like how to my situation in life better, but I still had a criminalistic mindset. So I still wanted to get high. I still wanted to get the sack. I still wanted to. So it was, it was a tightrope of me trying to figure it out going in. So yeah, I was
Right.
angry too.
What was there a breaking moment? Was there a shift? When was the wake up call? I know for me, I'm brother Willie. You know brother Willie?
Yeah, for sure, for
Brother
sure. Great
Willie,
brother.
right? He getting older now, but
Yep,
brother Willie back in the day in the system, he was a giant.
yep,
That brother was
yep,
militant.
yep.
My one of my wake up calls was him pulling up on me and saying, "Hey, young brother, do you not know who you are?" Like I had a moment like that. I had
Mm.
poetic, step to me. You know what I'm saying in a positive way. But what was your moment? Was it just a self realization that I could make it up out of here? Was it an individual? Was it an experience? Because something had to shift.
The thing for me is, I just had my PRS shirt on, right? I'm a peer recovery specialist, right? So, and we know the 5 stages to recovery. So, it was the contemplation stage for me. I got so high, Chris. I tell people I got so high in prison, I forgot I was in prison. Friday night, movie on. I work in the kitchen. I'm the guy I steal all the material for the wine, right?
Right,
I got a pretty little girl that's a roller for me. So I'm
right.
so high, and it's one of them good, supposedly good shifts.
You
I'm
in the
so
street.
high. Yeah, I'm so high that when they come over the loudspeaker, 10 minutes to lockdown, I snap back. I said, "Oh shit, I'm locked up." And that was the first time I said, "Yo, you might need to do something else."
Great.
That was the first time I ever thought, because up
I've
to
never
then,
heard nobody say that before.
yeah, I forgot I was locked up, bro. I was gone. I was because I was trying to escape every day.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to be so paranoid in there. I was telling dude I used to smoke in there, and I would be so paranoid, but I was still running to it
Yep,
because
yep,
that's that addiction, right? I,
yep,
I didn't want
yep.
to feel.
I was the
I was
same
willing
way.
to feel the paranoia,
Yep.
as so I couldn't, so I would feel the incarceration less.
Yes, yes, yes,
You know what
yes.
I'm
Great
saying?
analogy. Yep, yep. And that mental, like my mental that night, I still went on to get high, but I gradually eased away from things. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
that was the first time I thought I need to do something else with my life. You know what I'm saying? In another man, and that was the moment that it kind of shifted, though.
So, because I need people to understand, like prison is a negative space. It's not always full of tragedy, and like it's not always, I'm not gonna ever paint that picture, especially Virginia. It goes down, but it's not like California, Georgia, Texas, none of that, right? But it's overall it's a negative environment.
Yeah,
So even if you start to shift and you come up with this wake up call where you want to be positive, get home, etc., you still got to learn to navigate that environment.
yeah.
So I want to ask you right now, how did you navigate a negative environment like prison with the goal in mind of getting home or being better with that 75-year, over your head, and explain it to people in a way, even if they haven't been to prison, because your environment can make you feel a way, but that doesn't mean that's what it is for you.
So you had a pre-contemplation stage, you got the contemplation, and then you got preparation. So for me, I started to prepare to change, right? So I'm in the building where everything's happening. I'm at Lawrenceville when Lawrenceville was Lawrenceville, oh 03, oh 04, oh 05. You see how he dropped his head, y'all. Y'all see how he dropped his head.
I was,
I'm in,
hey, shout out to my big brother Tony Harris and them, man.
yeah, I was there. I'm in Tony Harris building. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So
okay. Well,
Lawrenceville is Lawrenceville, so it's jumping. It's jumping. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And so I had to prepare, right? Which means, because what I teach with Virginia Tech is with this neuroscience, it's only two things that will change someone's life: your environment and your relationships. So I'm still running with the worst of the worst. I got that environment, so I'm in the worst building there is. So I go to my counselor and I say, "Hey, I need to get out of this building." She says, "Okay, we'll get you out the building, but we're about to open up a new prison called Green Rock. Would you like to go there?" I said, "Absolutely," right? Because I can figure I can start over, right? Now, some people can't do that, but they moved me to a building where, because I became Muslim while I was incarcerated. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I got around, you can be around good brothers, which or you can be around bad brothers. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I was like, yo, I got to get around some good brothers. You know what I'm saying? I had some older, cats that took me up under their wing. Like, look, same thing with you. Look, man, you got some potential. You know what I'm saying? So then I put that action into it. Once I put that action in, and then that maintenance came behind it and whatnot, man. That was the biggest thing for me, was just changing my relationships and my environment in a very bad environment that I couldn't change. Because just as you know, what you just said earlier, you can gravitate towards people that have changed, and they'll accept that and bring you in and teach you some different things inside that bad environment.
Yeah, no question, man. Some of the greatest mentors I ever had until
Yeah.
this day.
Yep.
The one is still in confinement. You know,
For
and I
sure.
still I wait for his call so I can get that
For sure.
wisdom, man.
For
So
sure. For
yeah.
sure.
So the shift occurred. You started, definitely the mindset shifts. Now the path changes. As
Yeah.
you said, you advocated for yourself within that environment, and you continue to do so today. Before we jump back in the story, I want to take a break to do an activity, if you will, Sean. It's
Yeah.
something
For
I
sure.
want to introduce
For sure.
to the conversation. And basically, I'm going to say a word or a phrase, and I want you to give me your immediate response to it or thoughts. 60 seconds roundabout, man. Um, the first phrase is school to prison pipeline.
Third
What are you
grade.
third
Third
grade?
grade. Third
Why you
grade.
say
It's
third grade?
scientifically shown that by the third grade they know, they have data. They know who's going to prison, and they build prisons around that data.
Crazy,
Yeah.
crazy.
Yep.
So they're collecting data, they're analyzing the statistics, so they know which states need more prisons, if whether
Yep.
they need them at the federal level, the state level.
Correct.
We'll talk about that on the next one. Sean will be back. We're gonna get him
Yeah.
rescheduled.
For
Teach
sure. For
specifically
sure.
about
Yep.
school to prison. The next one is solitary confinement.
Focus.
Why?
The initial focus is you don't know what time of day it is. So you have to focus on, how do I get through this 24 hours? And then you have to focus on your mental health, that you don't go crazy. Which for me, I'm an only child. So it was different for me because I grew up talking to myself. I didn't have nobody else to talk to, right? I didn't
Right.
have a brother or sister. So that part was easy for me. But the mental side was, I had a guard, and the guard, because I was pretty, after I knew how to conversate, right? So anyway, he would come back there and he would tell me about the football games, right? But in the very next couple of moments, he would have to shackle me and put a dog collar around my neck to walk me to the shower. You know what I'm saying? And that messed me up, man. You know what I'm saying? Because even though I understood it was his job, you know what I'm saying, for to transition like that, that was mental for me, bro. So I had to focus on my mental health to stay sane.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting ready to do a project about solitary confinement and
Mm,
its impact. So I'm always wanting to hear people's responses. Yeah, I had to focus on staying sane or really getting back sane, because I think at one point I really went all the way off the rails.
yeah, man.
Um,
Yeah.
the last one, 'cause I really want. I'm glad to introduce it because it's good. It's thinking exercise, but I love to hear the thoughts on it
Yep.
organically.
Yep.
But the last one is reentry.
Possibility.
Why?
What we're able to do, and what I've seen in the space of reentry, it has a lot of possibility if those that are in power connect to us. It's nothing about us without us. If they it's a lot of possibility from, jail to prison to probation. And it's a lot of possibility there. But it's the reason that it doesn't flow a lot of times the way it's supposed to, is because they're looking at it from just one angle, and they have to look at it from all angles. So it's a lot of possibility there, man, that I've seen.
Man, thank you. Me too. I agree 1,000%. There's so much potential and possibility when those two sides, those that can open doors, allow those that need to be able to walk through them into
Correct.
the room
Correct.
to put the
Yep.
narrative and conversation and all that, man. And that's the segue because now I want to talk about. We talked a bit about the prison experience. When did you come home, Sean? And how many years did you do again?
Almost 15. Right under 15. Yep.
So what to give people a timestamp from what year to what year?
2001 to 2016.
Okay.
Yep.
So 15 years, it's pretty safe to say some things shifted, some things changed since you were gone, right? What
Man.
list some things, man. Let people know so they can have an understanding and perspective to the impact of some of these changes.
Well, for one, I came home to a 14-year-old daughter. You know what I'm saying? My daughter grew up, my oldest daughter grew up with me in prison. So that was the mother had remarried. That was another shift. You know what I'm saying? I tell people I came home with $315 to a blow up bed. You know what I'm saying? Because and I lived in the room that my mother's pet was in, the dog, because my daughter had taken the room I lived in, right? And also one of the biggest things was I remember the first like few moments I went to McDonald's when I got out, and I'm in line, right? And the guy is so close, but I think he's close behind me, right? And I every time it looked like I edge up, he edge up. And my daughter kind of looked at me, you know what I'm saying? Like, you all right? You know what I mean? Because I was like, why are you so close on me, man? You know what I'm saying? But it's just the,
Sure.
because we got them unspoken rules in prison, man. So those were some of the biggest things, like just first out, you know.
Yeah, man. I had a McDonald's store. I froze up at the touchscreen menu day one. Yo, started sweating. My
Yep,
family had ordered first and they ran
yep,
off to go wash their hands. They was excited.
yep,
We getting ready to sit.
yep,
They forgot
yep,
all about I've been
yep,
gone for
yep.
17 years. You know what I'm
Nah,
saying?
nah,
So
nah.
I don't know if anybody, in case anybody missed it, you were sleeping in the room, and thank God that you had a room to sleep in. So
Yes,
we not underestimating the room because I would have
yep,
slept in the room too. But you
for
had
sure.
300 some dollars air mattress. But now, I mean, you rocking and rolling, brother.
Right.
You got multiple irons in the fire. What was the process like to be successful? Give some people some tips that are coming home from incarceration or maybe stepping back into sobriety or into sobriety or coming out of a tough chapter that are restarting. Um, Tell a little bit of that story, how you're able to navigate into some of these spaces and give some tips along the way, man.
So that's really good segue right there, man. For me, Chris, like I said, I'm an only child, but my mother, my mother did something that was extraordinary, right? My mother came to see me 2 times a month for almost 15 years. Like she didn't break that. It didn't matter where I went, right? Her and my family, my daughter, they would come see me. Now I'm married at the time, right? I'm in between my in-laws' house and my mom's house. Like we'll stay here 3 days, 2 days. The within the first month of me being home, was about to drop me off at the gym, right? And I gotten a job. I'm working at Burger King, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. She says, "Have y'all been looking for a place?" And I'm like, which we had, but she didn't want me to get complacent, right? You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And I had disrupted the fabric of their home. I'm taking a shower, 6 o'clock in the morning when my step pop's taking a shower. So that was huge for me to understand, and for people to understand when you come home, wherever you go, I don't care if it's your old lady or whatever it is, you're going to be a bill starting off. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You're gonna,
Yeah.
so that's big for people to know, man. And another thing I always tell individuals is your work ethic. Whatever work ethic I cleaned the showers at Powhatan, man, like I was in, like it was a 5-star hotel or something,
All
right?
the shower mans was super official in the
Official.
penitentiary. If you in order for you to be a shower man, like you had the rep of being official.
And I did it for years, brother. You know what I'm saying? So by the time when I get to Burger King, I'm I'm working at Burger King like a 5-star restaurant. So much so, I had a printing job lined up for me, and they had the regional manager come down within 45 days, almost 2 months of me being home, and said, look, we got a store in Farmville we want you to run. I said, man, I gotta, because I'm opening and closing Burger King,
Right.
so I was like, I already got a job lined up, bro. But he said, you working like this and you got a job lined up. So whatever work ethic that you build, because we go back into the institutions and everybody is thinking. I just told someone the other day, Chris. They said, listen, give me some tips on how to become an entrepreneur, start my own business. I said, you want to know the first thing you need to do when you want to start your own business? He said, yeah. I said, get a job. And he looked at me. I said, get a job. I said, because that job is going to be your first investor and funder into your business. I said, unless you got a whole lot of money amassed that you can come home to, and you really know the intricacies of business and know how business really runs, get a job, bro. You know what I'm saying? And go from there.
Yeah. I was making at tops. Well, I had an enterprise job one time. I was making 62 cents an hour. So when I came home, I was happy to get on the back of the garbage truck.
Yes.
Anybody
Yes.
that thinks my life is sweet and I ain't never did, I've heard this. Oh, bro, you don't know. I worked on the back of a garbage truck during the pandemic, not driving, 800 some house count. Happy. I was running. Them young boys was dying out there. They needed Powerades.
Correct.
I'm coming home 205.
Correct.
We was on the weight pit at night away.
Correct.
So you
Correct.
talking about crossover or carryover from an environment where you built up discipline. And I need everybody to know when we incarcerated and we go into an environment, the workplace, bro just told you they offered him a whole store in like 40 because our work ethic is different.
Yes.
We appreciate things in a different way,
Yes.
man. You shifted into this the entrepreneurial, thing. You got printing. Matter of fact, speak to everything that you're doing and tell everybody, because I'm a butcher. I ain't gonna do it like you. Tell people everything that you're doing from your point of coming home in 2016, and how they can connect with all these things too, man.
So it's really a story of when it comes to Press for Time teas. So Press for Time is my printing business, right? So really quick, one man trash was another man's treasure. I'm working at this printing business company for about 2 years. They're getting ready to throw a piece of equipment away. And I asked my manager, I said, what's that right there? He said, it's a t-shirt making machine. It's a t-shirt making machine. I said, yeah. He says, I said, yeah. I was like, well, what you want for it? He said, take it. Take it home, right? I got this joint, Chris. I'm going to the car, right? I get home that night. I Google t-shirt making machine. I don't even know it's called a heat press, right? Because I know industrial printing. I know how to run newspapers and stuff. I don't know that side. So when I Google that joint and I see, the machine he gave me, the guy talking about the money, I looked at my wife. I said, they gave me a gold mine. I just watched them at that business, 7-man band. I learned everything about LLCs, tax IDs. I learned all of that. And I went from there. I was smart enough because it was hard. It was really hard, coming from that environment and trying to learn how to do good business, right? So what I did was I connected to a guy who did my website for me. And that's how I got to 10 Minutes of Truth, because it took me 2 years to convince him. He had been doing business, man, for about 25, 30 years, right? And I convinced him, man, look, I got a great idea for a podcast, man. And when he connected with me, he saved me a lot of bumps and bruises along the way that I would have made in the space. So that's another thing is, learn how to, no matter how much of a good leader you may think you are, be a great follower to be that great leader. And right now I'm a great follower, man. When you lead me right, you got to lead us right. When you lead us right, we'll be able to do that. We've been able to do some tremendous things in the space. Like I said, I work part-time with Virginia Tech teaching adverse childhood experiences, man. We went and spoke at every major law school. We went to Harvard this year. We've been to Georgetown, UVA. And I want to say this really quick with that. The reason that is really important, because we talk about, staying free is the name of the show. And it happened, by happenstance that The first time we spoke at UVA, by the time we got to Georgetown, because my good brother and friend Lawrence Howardson speaks with me from the juvenile side. He did 26 years. He got locked up at 16, came home at 43. And he'd be a great guest as well. So with that, what we did was we've said, hold on, we got something, man, because I can't, me or you, no matter what we're doing, we really can't go to Supreme Court justice and change their mind. Not even my local judge. I can't really change their mind because they've been administering the law so long, right? But the next generation of lawmakers, we wanted them to see what the law looked like that their contemporaries had wrote. So now connecting with us to live the experience, because you're a walking law book, Chris. You know what I'm saying? You're actually a walking law book. So now y'all can learn with justice and implement with empathy, man. And that's how you change. You really change justice reform by connecting to the next generation, because those kids going to come out of those law schools and be mayors. They're going to be governors. They're going to be Supreme Court judges. They're going to be everything. And connecting with us, man, is the best move to make.
Yeah, hands down, man. And shout out to all the young people that watch my platform. Like the heavy demographic for us right now is like 18 to 25. A lot of the
Nice,
young people are resonating with the content. Some of the older
nice.
people don't get it. But the whole purpose of it is we want to help everybody, but we know that the youth are our future. Like we know that y'all are our leaders. We know that y'all are the ones that are going to be able to make impact. So I
Correct.
want to say thank you, as Sean is highlighting. And I'm gonna ask Sean to get me in there some of these colleges. I'm trying to get me an honorary doctorate somewhere. Um,
Uh-huh. Real talk. real,
real, real talk.
real
I got
talk.
me a proclamation. I need me a doctorate now. I need to go
Yeah.
ahead. But thank you for the work that you do, Sean. This is the period where one, I invite you back. I would love to actually have you up for a part two. 1000%. I really do want to get into that school to prison pipeline thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so if we can, man, shout out to Fatima, that helped set up this show, man. I just want to say thank you to her as well.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
Sister's
yeah,
wonderful, man. Wonderful.
yeah, man. So hopefully you can connect with her soon, and we can get you back up here to get into that topic.
Okay.
But this is the part of the show, man, where I ask people. This is the Stay Free show. I ask my guests to give your input or your wisdom on how to stay free. That could be how to stay free physically from
Mhm.
prison, how to stay free mentally from thinking you can only get here. Whatever it is, your definition, Sean. I'd love to hear your take on how to stay free, bro.
The biggest thing that I can say, because we could say a lot, is um, listen to your women folk that's around you, right? For men, now I can't speak for the woman side of incarceration, but for men, a lot of times being around men, we gain this brashness about us, and we don't listen to the women around us, and they have that softness. Be able to connect with kids, man. Kids soften the heart. You know what I'm saying? If you can be around some children, if you're allowed to be around children, you know what I'm saying? Be around some children that'll soften your heart as well, man. And don't be afraid to ask for help. I don't care if it's social services or if it's your grandfather. It doesn't matter if you develop that sense of roughness and I take care of myself and I didn't ask nobody for a noodle while I was down. You know what I'm saying? Like, learn to ask for help, because we're gonna need it out here, mentally, psychologically, and physically, man. So don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Sean, for sharing that wisdom. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Please don't underestimate the power of that statement.
Yep.
Yesterday was World's Mental Health Day. And
Mm,
before we hop off here, I definitely want to highlight the fact that every day about 2,000 men decide that they don't want to be here anymore and
mm,
carry out the task. I lost my younger brother to suicide. It's very impactful, and we cannot underestimate the fact that the numbers are also going up when it comes to the ladies, juveniles, and those of us that have been impacted by incarceration. The statistics or data says that we're three times more likely, to even have thoughts, if not commit the act
yeah,
ourselves. So please, 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 don't be afraid to. Don't think that it takes away value from you. Please don't think that there's nobody on the face of the planet Earth that has gone without help. All
that's right.
right. So that's it, man. This is the Stay Free Show. Sean will be back, man. We're gonna get into the school to prison pipeline. Make sure you check him out on social media platforms. 10 Minutes of Truth. Sean Barksdale, he's doing work in all the colleges, all that good stuff. And if y'all need merch too, man, you need some stuff printed out, high quality,
Tap
professional
in,
now. You
tap
understand what I'm
in,
saying? Tap in
tap
with my
in.
brother over there. It's
For
not a
sure.
game. And if you can't find him on social media, man, you message me. We'll definitely connect the dots, y'all. If you want to be a guest up here on the Stay Free Show, you can email admin at ChristopherWillars.com. As we're gearing up, we've got enough guests to go through the end of the year, and we're getting more and more as we get ready to get into this streaming thing too on different platforms and push the conversations that matter, man. We will be back next Saturday with my good brother Justice.
That's my
Justice,
man.
yeah,
That's my
Justice
man.
got
Childhood
us.
friend of mine, man.
Oh,
Good brother.
see, man, it's a small world. I'm meeting some brothers that was.
Childhood friend.
I ran into
Listen,
one brother in Philly. He like, yo, my man's is your coded, or
yeah,
my
that's my man.
co-defendant is your man's, and I'm like,
Yep,
yo,
yep.
but Justice will be up here over 30 years
Yeah,
in the bench, over
yeah.
30 years
Yep,
incarcerated. You're not gonna want to miss next Saturday,
for
7:30
sure.
p.m. Eastern. We'll see y'all then. Sean, thank you, man, and we'll catch y'all next time.